Thank you for coming to our first event this weekend. I'm William Ward, Community Sustainability Director. This is the first of a series of events over the next few days. It also will be a seminal event in Lake Worth, celebrating cultural artists and our downtown master plan. I did want to recognize a few people and thank Robin of Planning and Development, who owns the building and shared the space with us tonight. Hardy, Herman Robinson, and Andy Amoroso, and something else?
The mayor.
I'm going to get to her. And so I've asked the mayor to give a welcome, and Mayor Pam Treville has the illustrious part of she's the longest serving mayor in the city as of November. So, here is the mayor of Lake Worth, Pam Treville.
Hey!
I love my team. I really do. And not just because they say nice things. They actually work to put together some great information for me to share with you, and of course for me to tell a little bit of my experiences in the last 7 years. And there have been many. Boy, have there been many. And for those of you who've been around as long as I have or longer, you know we've been through a major transformation, and I'm excited to be here. This event, the Focus event, is part of an overall event that was created through a partnership, of course, with the city, with the CRA, the Cultural Council also. It's one of the many implementation steps laid out by the Arts and Culture Master Plan created by those partnerships to be carried out by public and private entities and, of course, community stakeholders. The goal of the plan, along with its implementation, is to boost arts and culture, along with investment, to help create a thriving and growing downtown, thereby, of course, enhancing our quality of life for everyone. I'm so happy that you all took time to be here this evening. This is really exciting for us. It's the start of a trend. It's the start of a new beginning, a renaissance, like I like to say, a word that years back could be used in the city. And this is our vision. That's what it's all about, the vision for the future of the city. I don't know if you're familiar, so I'll kind of catch you up to date on some of the things that have happened over the last few years. At my 7 years of being mayor, we've worked really hard on several things. You can have grandiose thoughts, but if you don't have the foundations in place to make them happen, you're faking it. And so it really took a lot of hard work, and that's why I'm so close with my team here at the city, because we've been in the trenches together. Along with my fellow commissioners, we've had the ability to create a lot of new ordinances and policies and procedures that created a solid foundation. So, you know, when we got here, I kind of felt like the fake it till you make it kind of thing, and because we didn't have those things in place, and now we do. Some of the things that were most important when you mentioned the word Lake Worth, people would say, hey, utility rates, unreliable electric, bad utility. No, we don't want it, right? So we said, okay, how are we going to address this? We're going to create a law that forces the city to rate parity with FP&M. We're not just going to say, yeah, we'll lower your rates a little by a little by a little. No, we're going to create an actual law. Because we as electeds don't know how long we're going to be around. We're at the fate of the voters every election season. So let's create a law that forces the city to be at parity, and we did that. And year by year by year, we met that parity finally. And now you're going to see some really exciting things because of renewable energy and our ability to stand out and be innovative in the community. You're going to see commercial rates drop exponentially. You're going to see new investment. We have our solar options now. Did you know that we have a solar farm? We're the only city with our own beautiful solar farm here in the Palm Beaches. We've got a great solar farm. We've also worked really hard. Another problem that we had, and again, I should say challenge, not problem, was reliable customer service. When people came here, those points of contact, especially people in the development community, you know, if you're looking to invest in the community, you've got to make sure that the very first points of contact that they have within the city are good and strong and reliable and courteous and professional. And it came in, and we literally did. I remember the city manager and I working with different departments and saying, hey, you know, when you go to Disney, that was one of my first things out of my mouth because I'm so blunt. When you go to Disney, you know that guy in the suit, Pluto suit? He's been there in 102-degree weather, in that Pluto suit, all day with children jumping on him up and down. And he would never do anything to hurt that child, right? He wouldn't say, hey, you, get off my lap. Teaching people just some of the very basics on how to Disney-esque ourselves up in regards to customer service. And our staff has answered the challenge and come through with flying colors. And of course, always room for improvement. So some of the other things that we did, which was really important, the city had stood for 8 years. Imagine this, 8 years without redoing the comprehensive plan and the land development regulations. The commission just couldn't decide and vote and get these things passed. Total opposite sides. So when we were in there in the first year, we were able to, thanks to then, who is now my vice mayor, Commissioner Amoroso, and Vice Mayor Pro Tem, Scott Maxwell, and now with the new addition of course, Commissioner Robinson and Commissioner Hardy, we are able to really move forward in like step and put together these ordinances and work together to create a comprehensive plan and land development regulations that are reliable, predictable, easy to understand and ascertain, and easy to make sure that you know the second you walk in when you're investing in the city, you know what you can do, what you can't do, how it can be done, and you've got a whole staff, a concierge staff of people that will come to you. And anyone here done a project in the city and know how great William Waters is and how great our staff is?
Yeah.
Right? That's a big difference from 7 years ago, let me tell you that. And I'm very proud of all of them. One of the great things that I get to do is, you know, I'm known as the biggest cheerleader for the city. It's sort of my job, I guess, but it's a job I love to do. And I'll share a personal little story when you think of turning the tides in Lake Worth. And something as simple as I was going to get my hair cut. But my best friend, one of my closest friends, is a hairdresser in another city who shall remain nameless. And I traveled to visit him, and I'm sitting in a chair, and I hear this woman say, are you going down to, I won't say the name of the city. And they said, no, we don't go there anymore. It's too busy. You can't find a spot. You can't, whatever. It's too busy. We go to Lake Worth. Lake Worth's the hot new place. Lake Worth is hot, and it's great. And I'm sitting in the chair, and I'm just smiling. And I'm like, this is the best thing I ever heard. Yeah, oh, Lake Worth is the best, and you get this, and you get that. And I'm sitting there, and finally I got my hair done, and I got out of the chair, and I went over to the woman, and I said, I just want to let you know, you just made my day. And she's like, why? I said, I'm the mayor of Lake Worth, and I heard your entire conversation. And she was like, oh man, we love Lake Worth. It's so nice to be here. You know, the great thing about being the longest running mayor is that I actually get to see the good things starting to happen, because those first 4 years, boy, they were painful. You know, they were just, you know, I can't thank my commissioners enough, because we were so fortunate to have people that were from the business community on our commission that knew that the groundwork had to get done, and they weren't afraid to do it. They weren't playing politics. They were like, wow, we need to get stuff done, and they did it, and we made those things happen. So today, enough of my mumbo jumbo. Let me talk about a couple of other things. The last time we had, this is a good tidbit for you. The last time we gathered for a similar evening like this was the fall of 2014. Can you believe that? After we adopted the city's land development regulations. And we expanded the incentives, if you're not familiar, for density, intensity, and height to make investing in Lake Worth more attractive than ever. And these changes were the exact changes that spurred the first new investment in decades. When I first got elected, literally, I got a call from the tax collector's office, I think it was, and they said, Mayor Triolo, we think that your staff made a mistake. And I'm like, well, why would that be? And they're like, well, because it shows you have $0 of new investment in a 2-year period. And I said, well, that must be a mistake. It wasn't. I called William, I said, William, they said that we made a mistake on it. No, we didn't. And in that year alone, how many millions in the following years after the development of the land regulation?
About 35.
$35 million of new investment in that short time. So that was a big change. Now we're excited at this time to unveil visions of the many possibilities and opportunities available in the new Lake Worth, or who knows, Lake Worth Beach. If you haven't read that, that's going to be up in the next election cycle. So I hope right now you will appreciate the gorgeous designs. If you had a chance to take a look at some of them already, they are varieties of professionals. Let me see, anyone here who's made some of these designs? Show up here. There we go. Everyone's here. Good. How about the University of Miami student who made some design? Are they here? He wasn't? Oh, okay. But a student also participated in this. Each of them sharing their vision for what can happen with these new regulations here in the city of Lake Worth, taking some regular types of properties, taking some iconic properties, taking some formerly blighted pieces of properties, and seeing what that vision is going to do to transform our city. I am so excited, again, to be the cheerleader for the best darn city in all of the Palm Beaches, if not the world. In fact, Dave Barry, the author, I just have to toot our horn. Anyone know the comedic author and humorist David Barry? Last night, the Literacy Coalition named Lake Worth the best municipality ever. I want to thank their city manager for helping to pen a great essay that, with very little help from me, got us that win. So thank you, city manager. He is the leader of our team, my partner, and Joan Oliva, also my partner in so many projects. We've seen so much together. This is just the beginning, folks, and we're excited to have you be a part of it. Viva Lake Worth.
What we're going to do today is actually, or this evening, is explain to you what unique incentives the city put in place with our comprehensive plan amendments that I wanted to recognize NC Consultants and some of the staff, Lois Key, Mark Stivers, the city manager, and Joan Oliva, among others, who helped put together a very aggressive series of changes that will make investment in Lake Worth easier and more predictable than anywhere else that I know of in the state. So, beginning with that, I wanted to go over some of the things that we're actually doing. Lake Worth is uniquely located in probably the center of the county, right along 5 waterfronts. And so our goal is to attract some of these 919 new people coming to Florida every day, and having Lake Worth ready to accommodate those new residents. The population in Lake Worth is right now around 40,000 people, plus or minus a few during the season. And we are a city that could easily accommodate quite a few more. We have a goal to be at least over 50,000 people in the next 5 years, so we can be a standard metropolitan statistical area. Some of the areas of focus are millennials, younger retirees, and to be an employment center. If you're not familiar with our partner Commerce, there has been a great deal of investment and development out there, and the Belleville Road project should be finished in the next 6 months, which will provide a gateway road from 10th Avenue North through the park to Lake Worth Road and the Tri-Rail station. Our vision, the mayor went into some of this. The first major updates to land development regulations were in 2013. We did a comprehensive plan update in 2012. The major one that we just did was in 2018. We did our forums in 2014, and then Envision Lake Worth is this evening. And this is a kickoff event to explain to you why Lake Worth is the place to invest in Florida. We're also going to be adopting, or looking at adopting, a transfer of development rights program in 2019, which I'll explain in a little bit. Here's our future land use map. It has not changed very much. We have main corridors, major thoroughfares of 6th Avenue South, Lake Worth Road, Lake and Lucerne, 10th Avenue North, Dixie Highway, and Federal Highway. The areas in pink are all mixed use, commercial, retail, residential, or transfer development right, transit-oriented development type properties. Our zoning map. As the mayor mentioned, we have strived very hard over the past 8 years to have a comprehensive plan and a series of development regulations that are clear, concise, consistent, and predictable. And we also have a sustainable bonus incentive program, which is actually directed by the developer to figure out how they would like to participate in it. We've actually also adopted 4 platitudes in furtherance of our wanting to stimulate the environment in Lake Worth, preserve our historic character and neighborhood patterns, encourage sustainable practices, stimulate a vibrant economy, and embrace the participation and responsibilities of both our residents and property owners and newcomers. Our Sustainable Bonus Incentive Program was extensively revamped in our comprehensive plan. What it does is it provides a mechanism to get additional height, intensity, and density, anywhere from 25% up to possibly 100% increase in density and intensity, depending on where you're located. That one final one is actually our TOD location, which is just west of 95 at the Charterville Station. It's a predictable process. The developer actually decides how they want to participate. You do have to have a minimum of ½ an acre of property to participate at the 25% level, and 2 acres of property to participate at 50%. We're also proposing transfer development right program. Some of the city's properties are historic, will not be expanded or overly made any bigger. So we are proposing to put in a bank development rights from those city properties to be sold to developers in order to get an additional floor of no more than 15 feet, additional 10 units an acre, and to increase their floor area ratio by 10%. Those are available, those 4 concrete things are available west of Dixie Highway. East of Dixie, where we have a height limitation, you can get an additional 10 units an acre. We've also adopted an investment incentive program that was just recently put in place latter part of October. What we have studied is looking at the potential new revenue coming from new development for our 4 utility enterprise funds: stormwater, electric, water, and stormwater, electric, I'm missing one of them. Sewer. And what we did is estimated what the new revenue would be coming from those various projects, and actually will give part of that back to the developer at the front end of the project. As an example, the project of MID, which is our seminal new apartment complex coming North Dixie Highway, 230 units of residential, just under 10,000 square feet of commercial. Its economic incentive was about $167,000. Now, if the project performs better than anticipated, Lake Worth keeps the difference. If your project doesn't compete the way we anticipated, there is a performance bond required to make up the difference. The amount of the incentive will be reinstituted and adopted each year as part of our rate study. So it could change a little bit from year to year, depending on how well the utilities are doing. We also have an economic development electric program, whereby if you put another 150 kW of load on the system and 10 full-time equivalent positions, you can get a de-escalating incentive after your first year of 25%, then 22.5%, and 20% for 5 years. It does make our commercial rates quite competitive with those of FP&L, giving us time to get to the reductions that the mayor mentioned in her opening remarks. We have a confidentiality agreement program that was supported by the Business Development Board. And we were also moving toward supplemental documents that describe the future of our place. You're going to hear a presentation from Keith and Snars on our major thoroughfare guidelines. Those have not been updated since, I believe, around 2000. The city is almost finished with its first set of historic preservation guidelines. And the mayor also mentioned our Arts and Cultural Master Plan, which is coming through the adoption process next month. The MID. This was just approved last month. This is a new project for North Dixie Highway, showing some of the incentives. This project was bumped up to 230 units from about 180. They hope to break ground sometime in the next year or so. Some other Kennedy Homes project, Vicente was finished recently, a couple of years ago. There's Lake Cove coming, like Golden Road, 189 units. Lindsay Leaves was involved with that, she's here. And some other projects that show that Lake Worth isn't the old entire community that people think it is. We are actually open to progressive architecture. The one has just recently got its CO. It's on Palmway and Lake Avenue. It's 14-unit condominium. We're right across the street from the West Artist Lofts, which will open their ribbon cutting, I believe, is next week. And then this used to be a flooring and appliance building, and it was redone as a location for the headquarters of a window manufacturer and one of our first dispensaries. So moving on to trying to explain to you all what all has been going on, we revisited 2 of the sites. Many of you had our little development brochure that was done in 2014 that showed the development studies of 6 different sites. We went back and looked at 2. A is at Arbor Square as you're leaving the city. That was original when we studied. C is a tri-roll location, and we studied a new one, Site B. And this site is right across the street where we anticipate a coastal link station. It's also site number 6 under our Envision program. So working with Neosa's office, we studied Site A, what its current conditions are, and what it could be. The site plan as shown is a by right site plan. The site plan is not changing. What we're going to show you is how it can evolve as you increase the density and intensity from our land development regulation rules to our comp plan to the possibility of a transfer development right program. The total site is about almost 13.5 acres. And so in the low density version, we can get 408 units there. A maximum square footage of 918,000 square feet and 4 stories. With our medium density program under the comp plan, as a planned development, it can go to 6 stories and 612 units. Under the TDR program, it can actually get to 7 stories and 748 units. Site B is Site 6 on our little map back there. This is the current condition. Site 6 in the study was only one side of the railroad tracks, but we actually, Neosa and our group actually studied both sides. And so site plan anticipates the creation of a new station for East Coast Link. There's a hotel on this property, also apartments, office, and retail. So as the height goes from low, medium, and high, we can go 55 feet and 5 stories to 82.5 feet and 7 stories, and 97.5 feet to 8. And the density goes 50 units an acre, 75 and 85. And all this information, we're going to give you a primer later, and all this is spelled out in that primer. So I'm kind of going a little bit fast, because there's a lot to go over. I know that you all probably hungry and want to go downtown and have dinner. So the low density proposal looks like this, with its maximum of 5 stories and 241 dwelling units. The medium density at 362 units and 7 stories. And the high density at 8 stories and 410 units. To give you some idea, downtown Lake Worth, since I've been here in 8 years, has only had 37 new housing units built on Lake and Lucerne from Dixie Highway to Gulfview. So this could make a type of project, could make a very, and there aren't that many landowners involved. I think there's only 5. So the property could be assembled hopefully fairly easily. Another view of that higher density one. Site C is a tri-rail site, which is where the Holiday Home Park, mobile home park is. It's an area that's, I think, ripe for redevelopment, and we want to put in place incentives that could encourage someone to buy that mobile home park out. Here's the original site plan that was developed in 2014 that includes a hotel component, additional train station amenities, a parking garage, townhomes, condominiums, and office retail on Lake Worth Road. And that was anticipating we are having a baseball stadium across the canal, but the lake that might happen. Maybe it'll come back. It has a lovely view of the new dog park though. So the height can go from there from 55 feet to 82.5 up to 97, and you can get as much as 9 stories in this location through the TDR program. So low density, we have 495 units, which is what we allow under the land development regulations. The median, it jumps up to 990. And on the TDR program, you can go to 1,098. So we want you to join us in exploring the endless possibilities that are here in Lake Worth. I don't know of many other cities that have, as the mayor described, an aggressive approach from staff to work with you to bring your projects to fruition. We are revamping the city's website. It will be debuted probably in a year. We have online development and application processes, an interactive building permit and code compliance and business license. All that's in one department, community sustainability. So if you have a property you want to purchase or to study, you come to our department and you can get an answer about everything, hopefully. If we don't have the answer, we will find out for you. Again, emphasizing the consistent, clear, and predictable path of our comp plan, our land development regulations, and our zoning map. The mayor did mention we have a development concierge service. If you have a property that you're interested in purchasing or in the due diligence process, you can call us and we'll pull together the entire city's departments to meet with you to go over whatever development challenges you might have. It also includes the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office and Palm Beach Fire Department. So we have representatives of what's called our site plan review team, and we will call them. We usually get this pulled together within a week, and we can go over what challenges you might have in bringing that site plan forward. And that is at no cost to you. Hopefully we work with you to have a perfect application when it's submitted, and our traditional site plan process is about 75 days. For planned development, it can be as much as 125. Under the TDR program that's coming, it might tack on a little bit more time, but it wouldn't be more than 150 days from the time you submit your application to full development entitlement. Our process is clear and consistent to the point that some properties have actually requested annexation into the city from the county, received a comp plan designation, a zoning designation, and got their site plans approved before they would ever be heard by the county. And I think Lindsay Leibs could actually speak to that because she worked with us and we did an annexation for one of her projects. We also facilitate a review by things at one board only. You're either in a historic district and you're before the Historic Resource Preservation Board, or you're not in the historic district and you go before the Planning and Zoning Board. I mentioned some of these different programs we put in place to incentivize development of the city. And so you're invited to experience the unique experience of Lake Worth. We'll probably save some time for questions. I'm going to let Mrs. Lawrence go ahead and give their presentation on the major thoroughfare guidelines, which are going through the development approval process soon. And they provided a study of one of our sites. And so Heidi Siegel is their director. And so Heidi.
Thank you. While William's transitioning the presentation, I'll give you a little overview about our firm to get our presentation going. We're headquartered in Fort Lauderdale. We have 5 offices statewide, about 120 employees. We're a multidisciplinary firm. Like many engineering firms, we've kept up with the times and we've transitioned from mostly highways and roads building now that all the highways are pretty much built out throughout Florida, and we really focus now on urban design. So even our highway engineers are now road engineers, and we work closely as a group with our landscape architects and planning. I have our team here with us tonight. So this is us, all 5 offices around the state, 46 years old, and our team that's here tonight is the project manager for this project is Bradley Ben Roche. Brad really took this project all the way through, put his personal touch and his professional understanding on it, and it's something we're very proud of. Kristen Nowicki served as our land use planner. She's a traditional planner, so she was able to help us keep it on track to make sure that it was a realistic document. And Erin Sita, who just joined us in the last couple weeks, has been helping us wrap up the project, and we're very proud to have her with us. She's not only a well-known planner in Palm Beach County, she's a Lake Worth resident, former planning and zoning board, planning board member, all around great person. So it's been really like that she was able to walk in. I think she was excited that we had not wrapped up by the time she started so that she could be a part of this project. And then Kirk Hozak, who is our Director of Landscape Architecture, is here, and our landscape team also contributed to the document. So the purpose of the document is to be used to set parameters for development. But I want to echo what I heard the mayor say, as well as William said in his presentation. When we met with Joan and William for the project, the most important thing they told us is the goal is for predictable outcomes. And you've heard the word predictable already tonight. And it's to make it